We are live. I'm so excited, you guys. I want to just thank you guys for being here. This is super going to be a really fun show. You may not think so, but it's going to be a fun show. So, before I bring my guest in, I want to give you a little idea of the kind of guy he is, and then I'll have him right here. Hold on. We're live with Alan. Alan, thank you so much for being here. I am
Oh, well,
super
thank you much
excited.
for having me on, Lynn. It's my
Oh,
pleasure.
oh, man, you guys don't understand. This is like we have never. Well, we did talk once, but we've never video chatted. And I'm in Billings, Montana, and he's in Missoula, Montana. Well,
Yep,
around
only
there.
350 miles away.
5 hours,
Yep.
5 hours away. Oh my gosh, my sister-in-law, my brother's widow's on here, and I'm excited that she's here. This is going to be great. Okay, so being that we're just getting to know each other here, I just got to tell you, if you're gonna have stranger danger, you don't. Your credentials. First of all, let me just say, I want to thank you for serving our country. I'm very patriotic. All three brothers of mine served. It's really, you already have a special place in my heart just because of that. And
I appreciate that.
among that we have Kellen in common here. But even with all that said, there's usually some little stranger danger feeling. So I'm starting this new segment on my podcast, and we don't know each other, so I just want to see what your reaction is going to be here. But stranger danger, I kind of had to stalk your page a little bit and figure out what kind of guy you are. I mean, I know you're married and have a child, but you kind of had a general theme going. And this is what I found on your page that was very interesting that I'd like to discuss first. So look at this cute little puppy here. What the and burgers. Oh my gosh, look at that. Aw. And look at
Yep,
that. That's puppy
that's
love if I ever seen puppy love. And
that's
man,
my boy,
and this burgers. Look at that puppy, man. What's his name?
Rocky. And we have had Rocky for 98 days today because I wanted to post a new picture of him every day for the first 100 days. So Sunday will be his 100th day with us and our family.
That is so cool. So yeah, you guys look at that. He's like, huh? Huh? Oh my gosh. Okay. So I could go watch that all day, you guys. But that's a new feature. Lynn's gonna well, I gotta be careful. My guests are gonna know I'm doing that. But hey, if you have it on Facebook, it's there for me to grab. So you might want to
That,
clean up your page before you're on my show. Because that's gonna be a new feature. And it's because of stranger danger. No, just kidding. Speaking of stranger danger, I'd like you to talk a little bit about yourself and who you are, and then let's talk a little bit about that.
Sure. I mean, about me, my wife says I'm like an octopus because I got things going on in all many different directions. But I've been a martial artist, almost my entire life. I mean, I was trying to learn on my own in the 70s, and then in high school in the 80s, I had formal training, and I've been practicing martial arts since, through the military, through law school, while being an attorney, which I didn't care for as much. So I decided to stop practicing law, and I was writing books and teaching people how to be safe. Active shooter incidents were becoming more prevalent, so I started focusing there and teaching people what they could do in those horrific incidences. I wrote one of the best books, if you want to believe the reviews and what everybody else are saying about the book, Survive a Shooting. And that introduced me, because of that training and because of that book, introduced me to the CEO of a brand new company, Reflex Protect. And it was just getting off the ground. And I joined that company to help that company grow. And I'm the director of training, and I oversee different sales divisions of Reflex Protect. And that's my primary job right now, helping people be safe, enjoy life safely with education and one of the best non-lethal products out there that can help people. So that's my life really quick.
Well, you know, it's really funny because I thought hearing about this product was a really crazy, awesome idea. So maybe I don't know, I did a little promo thing. Maybe I'll just show that real quick, and if you want to explain it or talk about it, that would be great. Does that work? Okay.
Sure.
Here we go.
You know, and those are the main products. We have the Presidia gel products, and then we have the decontaminant product that cleans it up. And you being a Montanan will really appreciate this. That spray head, that trigger spray head, was developed and designed by a Montanan working on a better bear spray. But then when he met Joe, they both were talking, said not only a bear spray, this would be good for people too. You know, I mean, if you know, a defensive tool. And they went to a hospital and said, hey, what about this to help your nurses and people, because hospital have a terrible workplace violence problem. If you don't know about that, do some research and you'll see that a lot of nurses and hospital people are getting hurt on the job. And so the hospital said, oh, I love this spray, but not pepper spray. We can't use that in the hospital. It contaminates everything. So they went to work and they've had a unique developed gel, Presidia gel. It's unique to Reflex Protect. It won't cross-contaminate, won't go in the HVAC system. It works faster than pepper spray. And then they made the decontaminant because the hospital said, hey, once they're down, we got to take care of them. So they have a decontaminant that once the person is not being violent, they can clean him up. And we've actually had cases in hospitals where from beginning to end, maybe 15 minutes total, and the violence was done, the person's back to normal, restrained. Nobody else in the hospital knew about it. They didn't have to shut any place down to decontaminate because it was real quick. So it was made for hospitals, and it has worked successfully in multiple hospitals, but it's also schools, churches, businesses, and now law enforcement, because they like it because it doesn't contaminate everything like their pepper spray, and it works faster than their pepper spray. So law enforcement are starting to use it too. So we're really excited about where this company can go right here from Montana, and we're going everywhere now.
So let me ask you though, do you think that you have to, you know, like a taser, you know, you should be tased before you own one? Do you think like if you buy it, you should be like sprayed so that you kind of, you know?
No, I mean, I have gone into places where they would not buy it until they were sprayed.
Yeah.
I've gone into other places and said, hey, here's a bunch of cops that wanted to be sprayed. And people watch those cops being sprayed and say, that's good enough for me.
I'd like to see that video. I'd like to see that video.
They're on YouTube. Go to either Reflex Protect or Reflex Protect Tactical. We have two different channels. One is the law enforcement channel, one's civilian channel. And we have videos of people being sprayed and talking about it afterwards. We had a police officer that swore that I'll fight through this just like I fight through pepper spray. And he took 2 steps and went down on his knees and said, give me that decon stuff.
Oh, wow. Well, hey, my brother's widow, Julie, asked how close and accurate to you have to be in order, because it's a gel.
Yep. The big one, 15 to 20 feet is the real sweet spot. The smaller one, 12 to 15 feet away. And there are videos you can see us doing, and it comes out sort of like wasp spray. If you've ever sprayed wasp spray up at a wasp and you sort of zero it in on the hive, that's what you do with this. I mean, you spray it, you see it coming out. If it hit me right here, you would just raise it up into my face. If it was too high, you'd just lower it into the eyes and just saturate the face with it, with either one. And this one's so easy because it just sprays like either a firearm or a Windex bottle.
So what's the price point on those? Just out of curiosity.
You know, the 5 ounce runs $49.95. The pocket version, you can get that for $19.95.
That's sweet. That's sweet.
For Montana, we hope to be in Bob Ward's soon. You know, I've already talked to Bob Ward's, and we have the clamshell packaging for this. So the small one should be in Bob Ward's around Montana soon. And we're looking at a lot of other retail spaces that in 2021, we hope to be in a lot of retail spaces, or you just get it off the website too.
Yeah. And you probably have it on Amazon and stuff too, right?
Yep. It's on Amazon as well.
Yeah. So no, that's Julie. Thank you for asking that question. That's a great question. So yeah, this is going to be fun because we're just going to be all over the place. So
Hi, Tammy. Tammy
um,
said hi.
yeah, hi Tammy. That's one of our peeps here. I'm just really, yeah, you should get this. Everybody should get this. This is going to be.
And
Go
let me
ahead.
give this real quick for your listeners, Lynn. If you go to reflexprotect.com, put in my first name, Alain, and your viewers will get a little discount off of any purchase they buy there.
Oh, sweet. Thank you so much for that. You know what? If you'll put that in the private chat here that we have, I'll put that as like the code to the website there so that everybody knows that code so that they get a discount. That would be awesome. So I am super excited. If you guys have any questions about this, feel free to ask away because this is our show. This is our audience type of thing. Um, we talked about that, and now I want to get in the fact that you're just an amazing guy. I mean, you're just amazing guy. You bring sexy to everything. That's all I gotta tell you because you're talking martial arts, like that's super super cool. I mean, my brother always did martial arts with us and stuff like that, and so yeah, we're spoiled. Thank you again, Alan, for giving us a discount. Yeah, I'll pin that. Yeah, I'll pin that code so that you get that code for a discount. Absolutely. So I'm just gonna ask you some questions, but let's keep an eye
Sure.
that let's see what all happens here. So, what's the most courageous thing you've ever done?
I like to do a lot of different things. Probably one that stands out is when I was younger, I was afraid of heights. Didn't like, and I didn't like being afraid of heights. So I kept trying to work on myself to get over that. And then when I was graduating high school, I was a senior in high school. I was still 17. My dad had to sign too. When I was enlisting in the military, the Army, I signed up to go airborne. So there was going to be no fear of heights left in me because I was going to jump out of planes. And so that was one little courageous thing that because of the fear of heights, it's like, no, I'm going to jump out of airplanes. And I went and did it. And there was no hesitation because, when you're with the other guys and you're going through jump school, there was just no way that I was going to hesitate or not do it. I got that far. And so when they opened that door and said, green light, go, I went.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, my one brother was in Kansas. He was in the infantry or something. So yeah. Okay, so Tammy says she has a taser, but you have to be so close and so I know I should get the spray. Absolutely. That
Especially with the tasers or stun guns here in Montana during the winter, they're more difficult because people have these heavy clothes and such. Where with the Reflex Protect, the face is usually going to be uncovered. Or even if they got sunglasses on, it'll work when you hit them in the forehead and it drips in the eyes. And so, and it'll put them down for a good 15, 20 minutes till you get to safety if you don't use the reflex remove to clean them up fast.
Tammy said she always wanted to learn martial arts, but my parents told me no because I was a girl.
And that's sad because I know a lot of wonderful women and young women martial artists. I mean, so sex has nothing to do with learning martial arts.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's see here. I love my audience reacting, and let's see. How are my two favorite we're badasses. Hi, Kelly. We love you. Thank you for hooking us up. I don't have stranger danger. He's just I'm in good hands here. And I think he's go ahead.
I was gonna say, I know that you interviewed Kellen because you know about her business cards that wow, she is awesome. That's one that she made for me because I like and it has the Chinese character for power on the tiger. But that's the kind of stuff she does. I mean, and she will make anything, your business logo, any design that you want. And there's these 3D cards that make people go, wow. I mean, so she has an awesome business and she's, good friend. And, I can't recommend her products enough. I mean, if you want to stand out, she can make something to make you stand out.
I had a great WoW show with her yesterday. I think we're going to do a little WoW pow 15-minute thing together because it just was a great energy. And I'm all about, and probably even with the fact that, self-defense, people will learn techniques and things, but when their energy, when they're in that flight, scary mode, people don't know how to react. I wasn't going to get into this question before, but I'm going to get into it right now. But what would you recommend for people that, get in a panic? First, I would recommend the Reflex Protect product, but what else do you think somebody can do to feel more confident in a situation?
Breathing. When I teach the either safety classes, active shooter response classes, different things, I always include practicing breathing. And there's a lot of different breathing techniques in the martial arts that we practice. Donjon Hohup is Korean for the deep belly breathing exercises. But for regular civilians, you don't want to learn a martial art. There's what they call combat breathing, is its sort of nickname, or box breathing. You breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold it for 4 seconds, you breathe out for 4 seconds, you hold it for 4 seconds, and you repeat. That helps minimize stress and fear. And it's actually healthy, and it'll help you, if you did that daily, get rid of daily stress too.
I'm just laughing because before the show, we're sitting here and I'm like, when I get to know somebody or don't know them real good, I'm like, blah, 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 blah. It's just my nervous sinus. And I looked at you and I went, I got to breathe.
And that's what you need to do. I've had ladies that I've taught this to in safety classes say, that works every time I have to give a speech. I mean, it's not just for violence.
But talk about intuition. I just like, blah, blah, blah. And I looked at the camera like, I was like, you must have tranced me because I'm like, okay, I'm breathing.
You gotta breathe.
I just laughing at myself. That's all, Oh man, I crack myself up. Taser sometimes just pisses off the person, and you're right.
Well, and there's a difference too between an actual taser like law enforcement use that sends the cables and the prongs into you, and those little stun gun things that people call tasers. That when you hit them, as soon as you take it away and there's no contact, there's no more pain in them. And that's one of the reasons I don't like those, is because you have to be close enough to touch somebody with the thing for it to be effective. I like Reflex Protect because you can do it for 15 to 20 feet away. And that's a lot better for most people.
Well, I'll sincerely tell you that I can see myself promoting this product for you for many reasons. And I have a lot of reasons, but to impact other people to realize that you don't need to be walking in fear, and that you have a tool or something that can make you feel confident is just something that I endorse wholeheartedly. So I'm really, really excited about that.
And let me give you a little safety tip on that. You have somebody with this in their pocket or purse. Now, I've seen some ladies' purses and they got everything but the kitchen sink. I don't want you having to search for it when you might need it. So if you have intuition, listen to that feeling. You're a little nervous walking from the mall to your car. It's way out in the dark parking lot. Take this out and have it in your hand. Excuse me. Have it ready. Not only does that make you more prepared, it increases your awareness. You'll be less apt to be a
victim
in the first place.
Yeah. Yep. What's the difference between peppers? Okay, that's okay, Tammy. It says what's the difference between yours and pepper spray? And I know you.
The Presidia gel has a unique formula that it's based on a different chemical than pepper spray. It doesn't cross-contaminate. I could put my arm around somebody, spray him just like this, and I would be okay. If I did that with pepper spray, we would both be coughing and gagging, because it was made so you could use it inside. And it works outside too, but you can use it inside a building. Pepper spray contaminates everything. This won't. It also has a faster reaction when it hits the eyes. If you ever ate a hot pepper, you know that you bite into it, a minute later it's hotter. That's what pepper spray does. It's hot, but a minute later it's worse. And that's why a lot of law enforcement officers in the academy, they get sprayed, they do some tasks while it's still burning. They complete their task, and then it gets to the peak, and they're allowed to decon. Every police officer we've sprayed with this has not been able to do a task after it gets in the eyes. They're like, they want the decon immediately. So it works faster, doesn't cross-contaminate. Those are the main things. And then the decon cleans it up faster too.
Okay, so you'd recommend not just buying the one spray, but wouldn't you want to like be a nice person, say buy the other product to say, okay, they're being nice now, they're saying, uncle, I better buy the other product too?
Not necessarily for a civilian. A hospital, they got to help the person when they're after he's restrained. Police officers, they have to do something once they're restrained. Yeah. They need that decon. If you're on the street or and somebody tries to do something, spray them, get to safety. It's not your duty to clean them up. You might want some though, in case maybe you have kids or somebody inadvertently or accidentally gets sprayed that wasn't supposed to be sprayed. Having that decon that you can help them really quickly is important. Like for schools, we say buy some decon just in case. But if a teacher sprayed a bad guy that was trying to hurt his or her students, let them suffer. Get your students to safety. Let the cops deal with them. Absolutely. But if somebody accidentally was sprayed, you want that decon to help them.
Right. Okay. So you guys need to get on my show on time. I'm all about on time, people. No, just kidding. Like, okay. So sorry if you covered this, but the good idea to carry it on site and yeah.
We've had people actually just brandish it. Actually, it's been in hospitals, nurses with the bigger one, and it has stopped people from, the guy was coming at the nurse and she pointed at him. And we've had multiple uses where it has stopped violence without the person actually spraying. Actually had one gentleman, Sean, he had this at home. A guy jumped his fence and his wife screamed because it was in the backyard. And this was closer than Sean's gun. So he grabbed this and ran out. And Sean is a former cop, so he went into cop mode. Get on the ground now. And the guy got on the ground and stayed on the ground until the actual police officers. And so Sean was one of these and didn't spray it, but it stopped the guy, kept him and his family and his wife and everybody safe until the police came and took that guy out of their yard, which not sure why he jumped the fence and was scared Sean's wife like he did.
Well, this is all about laughter here too. So I'm just sitting here laughing, going, okay, so all you people that order today with the special code that we're going to list, until then, don't take your Lysol spray and try to scare somebody. Because remember, with the corona, they'll probably try the excuse, oh shit, I want to be sprayed with that. But, get some whatever, WD-40 until the meantime. But we have some good questions here real quick. Tammy asks, is the dye or something that helps identify the person?
We do not have a product with dye yet. We've been asked that before. And I know in 2021, we hope to come out with even a smaller keychain version. And we have talked about the possibility of making versions with a dye. The company out in New Jersey that makes the Presidia gel for us, they're a DOD approved company that can make that gel for us. They can add dye if we ask them to. We just haven't done that yet.
Well, that's an upsell product right there in the making. Okay, so how long is the effect after contact? That's a great question.
If you do not use any decon, it will go a good 15 to 20 minutes before it starts really letting some decon. We can get that in a couple minutes.
I just laughing. I was like, if it takes you 20 minutes to respond, you say your prayers and get ready to meet God. What else can I tell you?
So, that's why I said there's plenty of time if you spray a guy to get to safety.
All right. Tammy asked a great question. Can you keep that in your car?
Not in extreme temperatures. So, yes, you can have one in your car, but here in Montana, it will freeze overnight. If you're down in Las Vegas, you don't want it when it's, 115 outside and 150 in your car. And there are some guidelines on the can for the temperatures. But if it were to freeze in your car here in Montana, it would still be good after you thawed it out, but obviously it wouldn't work frozen. So we don't recommend keeping it in the vehicle with extreme temperatures.
This is why we carry big purses, ladies. If you buy it as a gift for a client, can we ship it?
Kellen, that you have to check with your shipping, because I think there are some different rules. Our distributor, our facility um,
Distribution center?
distribution center, that's the word I was looking for. They can ship, they ship it for us, and they have all the correct procedures, and they can ship it different ways. So an individual shipping it, I'm not 100% sure. You'd have to check with who you were shipping it with to see what needed to be done. I mean, it can be done because we ship it all over, but it is a distribution center that does it for us.
All right. Those were great questions. Now we're going to get to Lynn's fun time here in questions. So let me see. These are in no particular order, okay?
Sure.
Let's see. Okay, so here we go. What hard times in your life left you a better person after it was finished?
You know, I want to go way back with that question, and
Okay.
I don't even remember the hard time. It was harder on my parents, and it's because when I was born, I had spina bifida, and when I was adopted, they didn't know that.
Wow.
It was more of a hunch, but my father, they took me to some specialists and said, without surgery, corrective surgery, this is going to sever the spinal cord, and he'll be crippled for forever.
Wow.
So
Wow.
this was in the 60s. I had a successful surgery. And at the time, there were only hundreds of successful surgeries. Not like now where you have thousands, maybe millions by now with the advanced medical that we have now. But at that time, there were only hundreds of successful surgeries.
Wow.
Mine was obviously successful, allowed me to practice martial arts, jump out of airplanes with the military, and everything else I've done. But it was even stranger is when I was 40 years old, I had some weird pains up my back. And my wife finally got me to go to the doctors, and they did some MRIs and different things and found that my spinal cord actually splits in two and then comes back together. And the neurosurgeon was like, I don't know how you have done everything you've done, how you got in the army, all that. And I'm like, well, what do I do about the pain? He's like, I don't know. If it hurts, don't do it. He goes, I've operated on tons of spines. I wouldn't touch yours. Some of the guideposts that we use when we're operating, you don't have. They were removed in that surgery when you were a baby. He goes, if you lose functioning, call me, and we will get you into a big hospital with pediatric and adult surgeons, because usually it's pediatric surgeons that deal with this because it presents with babies. If you don't lose functioning, just keep doing what you're doing, and I don't have any other advice for you. And luckily, the pain went away on its own and hasn't come back, you know. And I would say that that was a really hard time on my parents, going, you know, as a baby, having those. I was in Seattle and Denver, different hospitals. Finally had the surgery done, but it definitely made me a better person, being able to walk and play and do all the things I've been able to do in my life.
That's awesome. And this question really it's what's the most impressive thing you've done, you know how to do. I'll tell you what, I just knowing you just today and appreciating your time, I think just your spirit, your person who you are and how passionate you are with things, I'm pretty impressed by you. And as well as your credentials, but
I appreciate that. And I mean, the most impressive thing I know how to do, I would like to think it is teaching. You know, there are a lot of martial artists. I mean, and I've always been a teacher. So, I mean, I taught in Second ID Scout Sniper School. I was an assistant instructor back when I was young in the military. I did some teaching when I was an undergraduate in the University of Montana. I have taught CLEs to attorneys, continuing legal education. I've taught mediation courses, communication courses, safety classes, self-defense classes, the martial art of Hapkido that I teach. And I would like to think that I am a good instructor, and I am always working to be a better instructor. And it's one of the most fulfilling things I've ever done. I guess that's why I've always, at one time or the other, been teaching something.
okay, so I just need to make this a little funny here. So, okay, what's the worst attorney joke you've ever heard?
You know, I don't know if I know any good attorney jokes. I mean, I guess are there actually any good attorneys, right? So,
You know, it's funny you say that because a lot of my friends in New York, they went to be attorneys and judges and things like that. And you know, we were in a great speech and leadership class, and I was going to go that way. And I'm like, man, I saw there was too many attorney joke books. I'm like, shit, I'm not going to be a Puerto Rican lawyer. I mean, I could see all the jokes going, so I just decided to go into law enforcement instead.
and even though I don't practice anymore, I definitely know some good attorneys, some practicing, some not practicing anymore. Sadly, there are those attorneys out there that, and I think they're actually a smaller percentage than we like to think, that give some attorneys a bad name, because there are definitely some attorneys out there that they're not so great. But I would think the most attorneys, and definitely many that I've associated with, are good people doing the best that they can for others with that education they received.
Okay, so we got to have some fun here.
So, have you ever gotten yourself in a pickle? What kind of pickle would you say you gotten yourself into? That you learned the most valuable lesson ever.
Wow. Well, I've gotten myself into a lot of people. So let's see, something that I learned a valuable lesson in. Okay, let's go way back to Fort Bragg, North Carolina. If any of my airborne buddies are watching, you'll remember we used to go down to Hay Street and some of the bars and things down there. And I remember one night a buddy of mine, we were out in a bar and we were watching this gal, and she ends up leaving with a guy, but we didn't think it was right that she was leaving with him. He was a big guy too. I mean, he was probably as big as me and my buddy put together, and we're not little. But being young and stupid, let's follow him. Okay, that's a good idea. So they got in a car and we're following him. And then he went down the street and we went down the street, and it's a one-way street with a dead end, or not a one-way street, but a dead end street. And all of a sudden he stopped, we passed, and then it's like, go back. And he blocked us. And then we're like, oh, he could have a gun. That's probably not the best thing. And so I did some maneuvering up the sidewalk, boom, and we got the heck out of there. And that's not the end of the story. A couple weeks later, I told this story to other buddies in the barracks. A couple weeks later, I'm at a different bar down in that same area with a different friend. And we're sitting there at this table, and all of a sudden, this big guy is standing there. And he's like, oh, if it's not the guy with the little red truck. And I'm thinking, oh, okay. And he's like, you know something? You're lucky I didn't have my gun that night. I would have put you in that truck full of holes. So I would think twice before you ever follow anyone again. And I looked up and said, that's some really good advice. And he walked away, and I looked over at Jeff, and Jeff was like, you're right. That was a big son of a gun, and I'm glad nothing happened tonight.
Oh my gosh, that is
so
hysterical.
I learned not to be quite so stupid. Violence is real. I mean, I've made a career out of teaching people to be safe and enjoy life safely. And a big part of that is don't do stupid stuff like we did that put us into a dangerous situation that could have been a lot worse.
Oh my gosh, that is just too funny. Okay, so I just adjusted our little ticker thing there. The code for a discount is Alan's name. And Alan, I don't know why our names are not here. What the heck did I do?
You covered them up.
Well, okay, for right now.
Covered up, or maybe are they covered up? I think maybe they're covered up.
Hopefully they're covered up. Yeah, they are.
There they are.
Yeah,
there they are.
I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like put your sunglasses down. And go, I can't see. That's why I got a show, because I'm goofy and I'm going with it. Oh my goodness, and I could do whatever I want. Okay. Well, this is a stupid question for this guest, you guys. What's the most impressive thing you know how to do? You know how to do a lot of things, so we're skipping that one. Yes,
we just did that one. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, which of your personality traits have been most useful?
Probably being outgoing and assertive and not shy. I've always been the one that just go do something. If I want to do it, I'll do it. And so I don't really have a lot of fear holding me back. And I think that has been very useful. At times, though, I've been too outgoing and too, aggressive and, assertive. And so, but that's okay too.
Absolutely. So what mistakes have you made along the way?
Oh, too many to count. I mean, we're always, if you don't make mistakes, you're not doing enough. We always have to try things. So I think I've made mistakes my whole life, this and that and this and that. And we learn from them and drive on. And because again, if you're not making mistakes, you're not doing enough.
It's called failing forward is what
Yep.
it is. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. What are your success habits? Yes.
The first and foremost, probably reading. I'm an avid reader. I like to read over 100 books a year minimum. This year it'll probably be 130, 140. Because I got to read a little extra because I didn't have to drive back and forth to the office. So I had a little extra reading times in the morning. But I'm always reading. Usually 7 to 8 books are at one time, one novel, and then 6 or 7 other books on different topics that interest me. Some will be on success, some will be on speaking, some will be on martial arts, self-defense, recently dog training of the last 100 days. So biographies. So reading is huge. And you put up there what book recommendations. I read so much, and there's so many great ones. One of my favorites that I read years ago, and I've read it multiple times, would have to be The Way of the Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman. And I've recommended that to other people that have also loved it. There was a movie, Peaceful Warrior, that starred Nick Nolte, that was based on that book. I liked the movie, but the book was just so much better. And all of Dan Millman's books I've enjoyed, and that was his first that really kicked it off for me. So that's one of the most impactful books.
All right. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, we went. Let's see. Okay. And you being an attorney and law and all that stuff, this will be an interesting answer.
I think the person's actions. What do they do? How do they treat people? And how do they treat regular people, as opposed to maybe somebody that they're trying to impress? There's that old, story that, goes around of, how a person treats the custodian or the waitress or somebody that maybe doesn't have an elevated position. If I'm an attorney, whoa, you're just a custodian or you're just a waitress. That would be ridiculous, because every position and every job counts. I mean, and part of that is brought up that way. My dad used to say, who has more important role in a community's health, a surgeon or the sanitation and garbage collectors? They go on strike, everybody's getting sick, right? If we don't have the garbage and stuff cleaned up. So I think that's one of the most important things about people is how do they treat everyone, not just people that they are trying to impress or think that those people are important because of some position or title, because we're all the same and we all matter.
I love that answer. Gosh, Kellen wasn't joking when she said, I fall in love with you. You're just a great person. You're only as good as the people you surround yourself with. And I think most people try to just deal with the people they have around them and not enhance their life. And I'm definitely already enhanced by you being in my life. And I really appreciate you already. And I'm sure my guests are going to get a lot out of you because you're really down to earth. And I like that.
I appreciate that. And I think you're exactly right. Surrounding yourself with the right people is so important. That's one of the reasons I joined up with Reflex Protect, because it was a small group of people that really wanted to help other people. Yes, we would like to take this company huge and make it worldwide, which will have financial gain, but we really want to help people.
I love it.
The CEO was involved in an active shooter situation and knew people that got killed. And that is his passion, to help people stay safe and to help protect people and do it in a passionate, compassionate way. And so again, you have to surround yourself with people, and if you're working at a place, you want the coworkers to be people that are good people, that you have a same mission and same desire to help and do for others, and that's what makes things way better.
And that's another great point here, is that I'm so excited to say that you can always take tragedy and you can dwell on it, or you could do something about it. Now look at the legacy, unfortunately, and the name and the honor of those people that are gone, that he's taking forward. And that's why I say live, love, and laugh and let go, because we can't change what happened, but how we go forward and impact. It's the ripple effect. I just love the ripple effect.
And the funny thing is Joe was an attorney. He still is an attorney, but when that happened at the law firm that he was at in San Francisco in the early 90s, he quit the practice of law and went and did other things. That's the effect it had, but it was always in the back of his mind. And when this company came along, this opportunity, it's what, drives him to help other people be safe, and not just from shooters, but from all kinds of violence.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. I really appreciate the fact, there's one thing, ideas are ideas, and you got to be grateful for them. But when behind the story of such thing that drives the force of a business, because some people go, you're doing this for money or this or that, like people are thinking I'm getting paid by the people I have on or something. You don't even know what I'm going through in my life, but I want to give because people have impacted my life, and the people I have on my show are people that somehow have inspired me one way or another. And you being in the service, that that means a lot to me. And it's just a ripple effect. It's not about us ever. It's about collectively what we can do for others. And so I'm just really tickled that you're here. And even though I felt stranger danger, I don't feel like that anymore. But again, it's getting out of your own way. You saw me a hot mess before this show, did you not? Like you were like, shit, is this girl going to even let me talk on her show? She's just going crazy over here.
No, and I said, I'm having fun, and I appreciate you so much. And, I said, fellow Montana, when Kellen said, hey, I know somebody that might want to interview, and she's from Montana. I said, awesome.
Well, half my life is here, 27 years. I'm originally from Long Island in New York. So, you can't take my New York license away, which is pretty funny about that, but that's for another show. Anyways, let's go to, do you have a ridiculous goal in life? And I think I kind of know what it is, but go for it.
I don't know if I have any ridiculous goals. I have lots of goals. I guess the ridiculous goal is to blow Reflex Protect up so huge that, all of us that were on the bottom can look back and just say, wow. Remember when we were in that tiny little place doing all this all by ourselves, and look what we have made. And then to receive the rewards of not just helping others, but there will be financial rewards when this blows big that will allow my wife and I to travel around the world. And when I'm doing that, I'm still going to be teaching people how to be safe and do things. I'll be just taking her with me because my daughter will be off and doing her own thing by then. So that's, I guess, my big ridiculous goal is to blow this up huge and get where my wife and I are traveling around, having fun, teaching people here and there, and making the world a better place. And is that idealistic? Of course it is, but we need to have ideas and we need to dream a little bit.
And we need to dream that we can even travel, period. I ain't going to say no more than that.
Well, that's true.
This big dream.
It is. This year, the travel and the teaching got cut way back because of COVID, and I'm really looking forward to when we can get back to traveling and teaching like I had been.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so how do you advertise this business? I call it your business. Let's call it your business right now.
We're on different social medias, doing things like this, interviews, podcasts. And, we're going to be getting out to retail soon. And then, we have marketing folks that, will be working on different campaigns that will help those businesses. Right now we have different sales forces, both for law enforcement and healthcare, all around the country. And those are brand new that we expect in 2021 to be doing a lot of direct contacting through those sales representatives to hospitals, healthcare centers, law enforcement agencies, as well as getting into retail. So, I mean, we got lots of plans to grow big. And COVID put a little, made things a little harder this year and slowed us down, but it didn't stop us. And we're going to come out in 2021 roaring even bigger and better.
Yeah, it's funny. My audience usually participate and they got quiet on us, but that's okay. What makes a person beautiful to you?
Being a good person is first and foremost. We sort of talked about that a little bit earlier. Being a genuine good person and caring about others is first and foremost. And then just a person that has self-respect for themselves and respects others and other things. One of my biggest pet peeves is people that don't respect others. And often it's because they don't even respect themselves.
And that's what I love about you already. And I love this question because people don't realize that they're really talking about who they are and what they want to see in other people. So I couldn't have said that any better about you. Really. I just love it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And I think, you're the same one. I mean, we talked the other day a little bit, and you can tell that you are a giving, caring person. I wouldn't have been on the show. I mean, it's just what it is.
Thank you. I wanted this show to always be something you remember that was different and off the wall. And it was like, this isn't a professional interview. I'm not trying to be professional. I'm trying to be just fun, silly, goofy. And to also show people that, you're a very busy, important person. And you actually took time out for me. Somebody you don't know, somebody that's just trying to do a little show here. And I'm always going to remember this. And so that means a lot to me. So thank you.
Well, and I appreciate it. And I learned that lesson. I don't think there's any, we mentioned earlier, no unimportant people. But in 1993, January, I actually spent a half an hour with President Ronald Reagan. And
Wow.
at the time, I was just a college kid from Missoula, Montana, going to college on the GI Bill. President Reagan was my first commander-in-chief. I went in, and then I got out when President Bush was in office. I was in college, and I wanted to meet him. And I wrote a couple letters and made some phone calls, and he took a half an hour out of his day to spend one-on-one with me. And
Wow.
I never forget that. And if there's ever a time where I think that I'm too big to talk to anybody, then something's awful wrong. And so I don't think this is somebody that, no, you're a fellow person. You're doing a show. You're doing great things. And it's a pleasure and an honor for me to be here with you.
Well, you actually put tears in my eyes. That's just so awesome. And look at that. You put something out there that you wanted and you made it happen. And that's the things I love about my show is giving people nuggets of it. You can listen to anybody talk and there's always something that'll just hit you. And the fact that we can all go through things in our lives and then we can laugh about it and realize that, we have the power all along. So you're just, it's just warm and fuzzy in here right now.
I was working at Burger King when I wrote the first letter to Ronald Reagan, to President Reagan, and the people at Burger King laughed at me and thought it was ridiculous that I was going to write him.
Wow. That's just wow. Love to spell time. Yeah. That's just so cool. That I love that. Let's see here. All right.
That is a great quote. I've actually used that in some of my communication classes.
Have you?
The love is spelled time, especially with your kids and such. I mean, that is so true.
Thank you, Sandra, for that. I really appreciate that. She's always great and supportive of my show, and I can't thank her enough for that. Okay. What habits do you have now that you wish you started much earlier? Getting a dog sooner? No.
I had a dog growing up, and my daughter wanted a dog, for a long time, but just we weren't we were all working with school and trips to back and forth to Korea, because my wife is from Korea. I met her over there studying martial arts. And then finally with this COVID stuff, and I was working from the home office and we were, more time at home. I finally said, yes, let's get a puppy. And it's been a wonderful thing. So that is something that, having early might have been better, but we weren't in a good position for it.
Yeah.
Other habits, I don't know. I've some of my habits, like getting up really early in the morning, I've had since I was a kid. I was always the get up early and do things and go to bed late because I've never liked sleep. So that's a habit I've already had.
This is pretty cool.
I'm not sure because some of my main habits I've had forever. Reading, getting up early, some of those things.
Yep. It's just really, really cool. I didn't realize here I am interrogating an attorney. That's just pretty cool. I'm gonna put that on my resume now too. The Inquisition of, because you're just sitting there. I mean, he came to my show to me with a jacket, like he was so dressed up. I just love it. I was like, man, did he think I was like gonna be like, this is 20,000 questions you're gonna ask me here, man? So what's your favorite quote?
Probably be Richard Strauss's Heckler, one of the books that he wrote, In Search of the Warrior Spirit. And he wrote, the path to warriorship and mastery is often just staying on the path. And I think that is so true with just about anything in life. To get to what we want to achieve, often it's just staying on the path and sticking to it until we get there.
Yeah, I agree. That's why, like, with this podcast now, I do marketing and people don't know that. I don't talk about it all the time. I've helped, people with marketing and everything, but, it's like the car mechanic's car is the last one to be fixed, right? But when I started this, I didn't think I was going to be very consistent. People could tell you I'm more consistent with this than my Facebook lives. But I fell in love with it. I've done over 30 of them, so this has become my passion. But I wouldn't have known that if I didn't keep pushing and doing it, out of my comfort zone. And so, yeah, it's, so let's go to the next one. What kind of people do you most enjoy hanging out with?
My wife and family, my martial art friends, obviously, I go down to Florida every year and have some great friends. We get together this big the Korean martial art festival. We couldn't do it this year because of COVID. So we all got together by a Zoom, which was, at least we got to hang out and chat on a Zoom one day. And then just other close friends I have, I have some good attorney friends. So those are the kind of people, just, good people that have been friends.
Cool.
Actually, a lot of my good friends are all over the world because of my traveling and doing stuff. So I don't get to hang out with them as much. So
thank heavens for Zooms, right?
Yeah,
that's for sure. So we're going to close up here pretty soon because you have a meeting actually, and I want to respect your time. But do you have like a simple tip really quick about defending yourself?
I think the most important thing I can tell people to help their safety is get their head out of their apps, APPS. Quit walking around looking at your phone and not paying attention to the world. The best thing you can do for your safety is to increase your awareness of what's going on around. Not only will you see potential bad things in time to hopefully avoid them altogether, you will also see the good stuff that's out there that you're missing when your head is buried into a device. So get out and enjoy life. And if you're paying attention, it'll be more enjoyable and more safe.
That is great. And you guys, I really appreciate you being here. Let's see, I gotta fix this here. Get that off there. I want to let everybody know, thank you for watching this. And if you came in late, I think I highly recommend to watch it again. I'm going to do a couple things here. I'm going to play the defense, the video, that the gel thing again. And if you want to say anything about that.
Yeah, a great Christmas present if you're looking to give somebody the gift of safety. Less than $20 and you can have something to keep yourself safe in your pocket or purse, on your nightstand. If you get a hold of Kellen, she can make some really cool gift cards to go with it, and that make a really awesome gift there too.
Yay, the show is over. You survived. Congratulations. I hope you had a great time.
I did, Lynn. I had a wonderful time and really appreciate you having me on.
Oh man, you guys, I'm gonna do something a little different here at the end because this music just makes me really super happy. You stay right there, Alan, but I know you need to go. You guys have a great one. I love how this show is evolving, and I get to do all great things, and I appreciate everybody involved. So you have a good one. This is just a little dedication to some of my former guests, and the music I think says a lot. So hold on. Have a great one, guys.
Grab your friends, find your enemies and make amends, and we'll meet in the middle. Take the pride and set it aside. My hands will build you a shield, and we'll